do have a question from Spilled Orange Juice, who asks, what are your thoughts on branching out with more physical things like merch or even startup companies? Really good question. I mean, one thing that comes to mind prominently is, Professor Broman with Rare Drop. They do Guardian Con. They have their coffee
King's
company,
Coast,
King's Coast.
Yeah. Same thing with Dodger doing coffee stuff. Basically, start a coffee company is what it comes down to.
I have coffee myself.
Successful.
It's wonderful. It's in my Twitch mug.
No, I think that's still something that you're seeing streamers now kind of try to foray into and figure out. And some of them have had success with it, but you don't see it on a larger scale because it is tough to do.
Very tough.
And the ones that are doing it are the ones that have their stuff together, the ones that are kind of taking the risk, because it is a risk too. It's not necessarily guaranteed that it's going to work. For me, I think the thing that most people can try to do for merch is I have crappy merch right now. It's not the worst merch ever, but it's not anywhere where I want it to be. And I'll straight up tell you that. I think the shirts are good, but I think they can be a lot better and more consistent with more variety. And that's part of what I'm working on this year. Beyond that, yeah, I think trying to keep your ears open and see what might be a potential opportunity for you, and being willing to take risks, or at the very least learn more about X potential endeavor. Yeah. So I guarantee you, Broman and all these people, like, none of that would have happened if they didn't first sit down and even have those initial talks. People are afraid to have those initial talks at first and being open to opportunity like that, because it's scary when you go outside of your box. Streaming, this, and then people are like, well, this is also potentially interesting too. And it's hard to sort through all the bull emails of like, hey, this opportunity it's hard to find out what's legit and worth your time, right?
Yeah, very.
But I think conquering that initial fear to even just have those discussions and see what is there. Because if you don't like it and it seems like something that's not a good fit for you, then you don't have to do it. But if you're crippled by fear to not even have those discussions at first, then nothing will happen and you'll just stay in your box.
I think a plan is important, but at the same time, not demanding a perfect plan, because then you'll never get off the ground, because there's no such thing. You'll just sit there and go and wait until you somehow magically construct the perfect plan that can't exist. Yeah. And in conjunction with that, I don't like the idea of throwing, just throwing stuff against the wall and seeing what sticks, and just trying a bunch of different, like, all at once. Is I'm going to have coffee and I'm going to have merch at this store and merch at this other store and this other type of thing, and be doing.
You got to cover all your bases.
Yeah, like 3,000 different things, because people are going to be so inundated that they're not going to want to get any of them. It's like, well, I don't know which one's the best. I'm just not even going to bother. Yeah. So like, what do you really want to focus on for that stuff? And that's probably true with spreading out your content in all these other ways as well, in addition to like the merch and all the various links that you can have, and starting up additional companies. How many platforms are you going to go out to? Well, which ones make the most sense for what you actually want to do?
This is it's a perfect opportunity to mention to you guys my GassyMexican odor spray. If you guys are interested in that at all, it doesn't exist. It's not a thing. But,
damn it.
I want to smell like a gassy Mexican.
No, that doesn't even sound good. It doesn't even. Maybe in like a Spencer's gift shop.
Spencer's.
That's about the only appeal it has, is like a novelty thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I want to be known for that.
The thing with merch too is, like, if you make merch based on your brand, you have to have a brand, you have to have an identity. Doesn't make sense to like start streaming and have a merch store. Like, it goes back to what we mentioned earlier. You don't want to spread yourself out too thin. I think having a merch store from the get-go is like the worst option of any of your options to like spread into. Like, focus on your Twitter, focus on building that brand before you sell your brand.